Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twist, the podcast where we recap your childhood. My name is Joe Lewis, and I'm joined today by my co-host, a man who is not on a TV, who is here with me live and in person. It's Anthony Ball.
Hey Joe, how's it going?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited. We're talking about an episode of Round the Twist, which is okay.
Yes.
But not super great.
We're talking about Season 4, Episode 5, TV or Not TV. Bit of a Shakespearean twist there.
Yeah.
On the old television.
A really clever joke, if you will. Very funny and clever.
Yes. Very, very, very clever. Just to get this out of the way before we even start, I did not like this episode. This was probably my second least favourite episode, second only to Birdsdoe.
Oh, yeah. Birdsdoe was pretty
Old Man
terrible.
Birdsdoe.
Old Man's Birdsdoe. Back in Season 1, Episode 2. But that was probably one of our best episodes back in the old days.
That was one of our worst episodes.
I thought you said it was probably one of our best episodes.
No.
Really?
I think it's one of our highest rating episodes. I think creatively it's one of our worst episodes.
Probably. Well, okay, it doesn't help when you're number 1 and 2 because it's right at the start. And people, for some reason, like to go back to the start when they find our podcast, and they like to listen to episode 1 and 2, which is fine. But oh my god,
we've gotten better since then. We promise you.
I've listened to it before in episode 10. Even we're so flat. It starts off like this. Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists. That's me, by the way.
Yes.
Making that noise.
No, I did gather that from your mumbling, your constant mumbling, which hasn't changed at all.
No, it hasn't changed at all. Why would I deprive the listeners of my mumbles?
Yeah, it's something that everyone wants from a podcast, right? A mumbling host.
You took that out. People would say, where'd Anthony go? Where's he gone? My God, they've replaced him. Oh, bastards. Or they might think, oh, this guy's better.
In the last couple of weeks, I've been listening more and more to community radio, to the local Brisbane community radio station 4ZZZ. They play some interesting music, but I think it's kind of made me a little bit worse at podcasting, if I can throw shade in their direction.
Why is that? What do you reckon?
Oh, I'm just falling into the community radio amateurism. I thought we were pretty professional for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, we're stumbling over our words.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
We're doing community radioisms.
Well, at least you know, at the very least, that you're doing just as good, if not better, than community radio. That's something.
Yeah.
Okay? Something you can put on your resume.
Yes.
Put another feather in your cap.
What would you put this podcast on your resume?
I have put this podcast on my resume.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you have a social media related job.
Also, I've done a podcast, which is, not many people know how to load a podcast on iTunes, so maybe if you want to do a business podcast, how do I do that? Well, I know how to do that.
You go on iTunes, and then you click 3,000 buttons, smash your head against the desk until it bleeds, and then you've got it.
Yeah, and then it says, by the way, you need to have a certain image size, and it doesn't work, and you're just like,
We are here to talk about TV or Not TV, which opens with the teaser, which sometimes gives us a bit of an idea of what's going to happen in the episode.
This one, not so much.
And this one, we have the Twist kids. They're waltzing around on the beach, and suddenly everything goes black and white. They're on TV, and they all turn remotes to our direction because we're on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
And they turn us off. And then we see a title screen, TV or Not TV, in a cheesy, old. What period would you say? What time period would you say this font is from, Mr. Font Spurt?
I don't know.
You're the resident fontologist on this podcast.
I honestly don't remember the font for it. I don't even remember how it looked.
What good are you?
It didn't stand out to me. It was not that distinct.
This is your reason for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
Your font expertise.
Well, it just didn't stand out. It was not worth mentioning.
You traitor.
Yes, I am a traitor.
You're a traitor to the cause.
Well, actually, what I was waiting for you to say for me, because I can't remember, was you said old, and I'm like, old as in how? Old as in English or old as in 50s? Because I wasn't going to say, it's kind of like an old English font, because I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't remember it. So it would have been nice if you said old 50s font. I'm like, oh, it could have been like Courier New, but I know it's not Courier New. It could have been
Courier New.
Eros. I don't know.
You're not even able to name any fonts.
It could have been Engraver's MT.
What is Engraver? That sounds like an exciting font.
It's pretty exciting. It looks like the stuff you get on engravings.
I know Courier New, which is the typewriter font.
Much better than Courier Old, right?
Yeah, Courier Old. What
Get
are you
with
doing?
the times, mate.
I know Times New Roman.
Yep.
I know Arial.
Arial.
And I know Comic Sans.
Yes, and you also...
The greatest of all fonts.
It is the best fonts. And Wingdings. And Wingdings 3, 2, and 3.
Wingdings 3, Revenge of the Dings.
You know, it's like that College Humor video, right?
What?
Where it's just like they have the conference of fonts. If fonts were people, Wingdings would be the kind of like internet people who are interested in like, you know, the really...
Furries?
Yeah, they'd be furries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was speaking about... I've got this creative project going on with this other guy, and we were at his house, and one of his housemates was there, and we were making a joke about furries, and she said, "Huh, I met a furry on Tinder," and we were like, "What? What?" And
Really?
she says, "Yeah. I was talking to this guy. I stalked out his Facebook, and then I saw that he was a furry, and so I asked him straight up, 'Is there anything else you want to tell me?' Just give him a bit of a chance." And he said, "Oh yeah, I like furry culture."
Okay.
And then she said, "Okay, well, it was nice to meet you. I don't really want to speak to you again."
Okay.
But I kind of think it'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
What, to be a furry?
To go and meet them and just talk to them.
Yeah, I suppose it would
Not
be.
to be one. You don't want to be one.
I don't want to be one either.
But you kind of... I just want to know why?
Don't know.
And also the kind of weird specifics that go along with that as well.
Yeah.
Like, my friend was telling me they have a lot of functions in bars.
They do.
So you can imagine all the types of stains that they would be getting on their suits, right?
Yeah.
How do they clean it? Does it get cleaned?
Those are good questions.
What are the mechanics of having sexual relations while you're wearing a furry suit?
Because they know, that's happening. That has to happen.
It happens.
Like,
do they have little penis pouches?
They have to, because you're not a furry. You wouldn't find a furry girl or furry boy, right? And you wouldn't then just be like, oh, let's take our fur suits off and have sex with each other like normal. Like, you want to be a furry?
That defeats the point.
It defeats the purpose of being a furry and wanting to have sex with another furry. You'd have a fur pouch, and then you'd have like a little thing that drops down the back so that you can like bare bum. I don't know how it works. Surely there's got to be a way that doesn't destroy the illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't actually... You know, it's like one of these weird fetishes where they don't actually need to have sex. Like
maybe it's
foot
not
fetishes, right?
Maybe it's not a full fur suit. I don't know. Maybe it comes in pieces sometimes.
Yeah.
And you could just have like flaps or something. I don't know.
I also want to know where they get these suits. Are they custom made? Is there a special site on the internet? I assume there would be. But can you just rock up to a costume shop and say, "Hey, I want a kangaroo onesie"?
I don't think that's
going
how that works.
to a furry party.
You got to have what's known as a fursona.
What is a fursona?
It's your fur. It's how you identify as a furry and who you see yourself as, what they look like, your alter ego. So they have a specific look and feel. So that you'd have to get it custom made, I imagine. Look, the business
it's out of control, isn't it?
Like, yeah. But there would be businesses out there to be like, you know what? I don't care. I'll make this. Some of them would be
friendly.
furries. Some of them wouldn't be. They don't care. They'll take your money.
Yeah.
They don't judge. They just want your money.
That's the thing with business enterprise.
Yeah.
You're there to make money. You're not there to,
Businesses
do things.
only discriminate against people without money.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
even, and then sometimes it can be paid with ads.
if you want to have a business, I feel like you should be free to discriminate against whoever you want.
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't understand this idea that the consumer has a right
Yeah.
to boss the business around. If the business wants to discriminate against someone, that's their choice.
Yeah.
And if they're going to lose business, so be it.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be illegal for them to discriminate against people.
If
Say,
you-
no,
if-
we're not
if-
going to
if-
serve
if
people.
you
like
are a black guy and you don't want any white people in your
Yeah.
store, fine. I don't care. Yep.
It's disappointing. And people will probably say, well, but it would be known that this place doesn't let droids in.
Yeah.
Or white people or whatever, and then all the droids and white people are going to say, let's not go to that shop, let's go to this other shop. They're losing business.
I would rather...
They shouldn't go to
if
jail.
If I go to the shop and they don't like white people there, or they don't want them shopping in there, I'd rather have a sign out there, or I'd rather them say straight away, no, we don't serve white people here. I'd say, whoa, I'd be kind of annoyed and feel a little... be like, whoa, it's bullshit. But I'd take my money elsewhere. I've come into your shop with money. You don't want my money? Okay, I'll take it elsewhere. Go down the store to bloody old... Who knows what? The guy who's like, yeah, I'll take whoever's money. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't care. I'll take
Most
that.
business owners are like that. There's
Yeah,
very
exactly.
few business owners that
Because
actually
they like
care.
to make money.
And I don't think that people should be discriminating against people, but if they want to, that's their right. But the closest that you and I have come to being discriminated against in a business is actually in a little a suburb of Brisbane called Sunnybank.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
actually, I think it's part of Logan. I don't care. Anyway, we were in this Vietnamese restaurant.
Yeah.
You, I, and a couple of other friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd ordered our meals.
Yeah.
We all order things that we didn't really know what they were. It was the first time we were in a Vietnamese restaurant. It was quite a few years ago. And we order our meals. You order do-it-yourself rice paper wraps.
I love rice paper wraps.
You like rice paper rolls.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily like the wraps. We order our meals. They come out. They come to the table. The waiter brings you a big bowl of basically just vegetables.
Yeah.
A plate.
And like a little
that
tiny
had
dish.
white discs on it.
Yeah.
And a big bowl of hot water. And
No. That's not how it happened. So what happened was...
You're ruining the momentum of the story.
Okay, so what actually has happened was...
No, he's brought you a bunch of stuff. He's bringing stuff out to the table.
What he brought out was he brought out everyone else's meal first. He brought out one of the other friends' meals first. Now, because we didn't no idea what it looked like, but it sort of looked like my meal. I was like, oh, okay. But he also brought out these rice papers at the same time, so I'm thinking, oh, I'll be okay. This is my meal. Yeah. But there's no bowl, because I've done this before. There's no bowl to do the thing.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
Okay. I see this little sauce dish, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's here then. So I'm dunking this rice paper.
This is not what you did.
Rice paper, and I'm trying to dunk it in this sauce, and I'm like, it's not working. And there's Asians all looking at me. There's one old Asian lady's laughing at me.
See, I remember this story very differently. You picked up that rice paper disc, the plain rice paper disc, and you put it in your mouth, and you took a big bite, and the little Asian lady pointed directly at you and laughed as hard as she could.
Well, like the
little Vietnamese lady.
That's the thing. I tried doing it in the sauce first, and I'm like trying to eat it. I'm like, this. What the hell? Because where's the bowl? There's supposed to be a bowl coming, and the guy's like, no. This is not yours. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he brings out my food.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then how could I not be confused?
To the uninitiated, rice paper wrap, you have a disc of rice paper, you dip it in some hot water, and then you pile a bunch of vegetables on it and roll it up to a roll. It it's like a see-through spring roll, basically. It's a bit different, but if you don't know, that's the closest thing to it. We were laughed at.
We were laughed at.
That's cool. It's pretty funny if that's the only time you've been racially discriminated against, isn't it, really?
People laughed at
We're pretty lucky.
We are pretty lucky.
That privilege, man. You got to check it. Mm-hmm. So, back to Round the Twist.
Which we haven't even started yet.
We haven't even started talking about.
Let's steam through.
The Twist kids sitting on a couch and they're watching television. Linda's trying to watch Mary Moore, she's kind of like a current affair journalist, right? Mm. She's kind of like our Tracy Grimshaw. What's the other one?
Anna Corrin?
Anna Corrin?
Is that her name?
I don't know. I don't watch those shows.
Neither do I.
So she's a journalist, and she's an investigative journalist. She's going around investigating dumps or something, and then Pete comes in and changes the channel to this big football guy who's drinking milk, whose name we'll talk about later. And then Bronson comes in and he changes it to a private investigator show. And then Tony comes in and turns off the TV, and he confiscates the remote, and he leaves for an ultrasound in Bigsville with Faye. And he says, don't you guys watch TV, you go and do some outside things or do your homework or something.
Yeah, you go do those things, you bloody kids.
We'll watch the ultrasound when we get back, says Faye.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
an amazing thing to watch.
Mm.
It's so interesting. It's just like a bit of a blob that kind of looks like a human. If we want to do that, I'll roll down to Goodna. Or insert regional equivalency here. Yeah. Western suburbs.
Yeah, well, all those bad suburbs, wherever your main city is.
Yeah, or a nearby city or town.
Yeah.
You can ditch it on them as well.
You don't like them.
Comedians have they research and know what the right one to make fun of is before they go there.
Like if you come to Ipswich, you make fun of Logan. If you go to Logan, you make fun of Ipswich.
If you come to Ipswich, you're probably going to make fun of like Goodna or something.
No, you make fun of Logan.
Or Inala.
Make fun of Logan.
Why?
Because it's a major city. It's
a
major sub-city, and everyone is like, oh, it's the bogans from Logan. But then, of course, people from Logan are like, oh, but Ipswich is full of bogans. And it's like, well, look, we're all full of bogans, guys. Come on, we know that.
Okay. Crazy Nell appears as Tony's leaving, and she says, Gribble is trying to sell the swamp and I smell a rat. You know, she's always got some sort of scheme going on. And this week it's Gribble's trying to sell the swamp and she smells rats, apparently. So I don't know why she just doesn't call a pest controller, but let's leave it at that. Tony and Faye, they leave, and the Twist kids, they decline the adventure because they're TV addicts, but they can't watch the TV anymore because they don't have a remote, says Bronson.
Linda gets all proud.
Yes.
And says, oh, TV is just chewing gum for the eyes. I'm going to go read a book, which I think is bullshit, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, I think it's bullshit because it all depends on what book you read.
Okay.
You know?
There are garbage books as well,
There
aren't
are
there?
crap books, and it doesn't matter if you're reading a book, right? If you're watching a documentary about World War II, right? The history of World War II, a very intricate and interesting story, versus reading, I don't know, Captain Underpants. I can tell you which one is more educational and will fill you with more information.
Captain Underpants for sure, 100%.
Of course, because it's actually a secret allegory for Adolf Hitler.
What?
It is. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Captain Underpants is the
SS.
He's an example of the Aryan race.
All right.
He wears underpants and I don't know what else he does.
We've got a note from Pontillo here, a man who writes in every time we do a Round the Twist episode with Pontillo's pontifications, the man himself, Regan Pontillo, and he gives us some feedback and notes on the episode, things that he thought, and then we read them out. And if you want to contribute too, you can go to the Chicken Twisties Facebook page and you can leave your comments there for upcoming episodes and we'll read them out on the podcast. So Pontillo's first note here is that Bronson confirms that neither him nor his siblings can watch the TV because Dad Tony has taken the remote. I'm pretty sure any of them could walk up to the TV and turn it on or off manually, but maybe because they're Gen Y, they didn't realise that.
Yeah, probably.
What a cutting blow to the generation there, Pontillo.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, everyone thinks that. Why can't you just use the buttons on the television? They're not hard. They're literally there.
It isn't hard, is it?
No, but they're too lazy. Also, they need an excuse, but I like they're lazy. They're too lazy. Bloody Gen Yers. That's millennials for you.
Millennials, right? Hey? That's the technical new term, right? Millennials.
That's what they like to use. You see, I thought millennials was something different. I thought it was like the generation after us.
Okay.
So whenever people talked about millennials, I was just like, oh, yeah, I don't know how to... blah, blah, blah. Because every conversation you ever hear now is... millennials. Or you'll hear things like, how do you reach millennials? How do you market to millennials? How do you do all these things? And I'm one of them. And I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, okay, well... we're not some special magic group.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Is this not for me then? Is this news for someone else?
Here's the interesting thing about millennials, right?
Yeah.
It's that when people talk about millennials, they're not talking about us.
No, they're not.
They're specifically talking about, you know, the 20 to 17-year-old bracket where they've grown up with social media all their life. You know, we didn't have social media until we were in high school. You know, Facebook wasn't even around until we didn't get access until like 2007, which was the year after we finished school.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, we adapted to using social media, but we didn't grow up into it natively. But these people that are 17 to 20 have a much different view of technology and social media than we do. They're using the Snapchats, the Instagrams, stuff I don't even understand. And we're identified under this same banner as millennial when... You know,
we're not really.
We're not really. We may as well be a completely different generation because these old generational terms that arc like 30 years or whatever are basically defunct. Well, like, you know, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
There is some generation things that join. All right, there seem to come through. Like you can see it within the different generations, even at a workplace. Like the way they talk, the way they act, the way they obsess about something. You have like I remember talking to this one girl I was working with. She was quite young. She was in my generation, right? I think a lot of it's got to do with the amount of uni that a lot of Generation Y does,
that's
or
part
Millennial
of it.
does. Because Generation X didn't do that, so they don't value that as much. They don't talk about that highbrow crap. Okay, I had a large conversation about Marxism and the values of all this stuff just casually with this girl, and it was just totally normal. And it's because of the high amount of education that you get. I'm not saying that makes you smarter. I think I've always said that university does not make you smarter. It just makes it easier for you to argue bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, with more complicated words.
Listen, I don't think that university and talking about Marxism and stuff is unique to the generation. I think that, you know, that's specific because you're upbringing not everyone in Gen Y. Yeah. Actually, one of the defining characteristics of the millennials is that they don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're more interested in the Facebook feeds or whatever. But this whole idea of generations, I think, doesn't really make sense to me because it's more of a gradual than, you know, this whole 30 years, this got this and similar. It's more like gradually changing. Every few years, every different age group is a bit different. Like, I feel like even though we're millennial, I don't feel like we fit.
Yeah.
And I don't think we fit into Gen X either. Because I think Gen X, even though we have some similarities with the Gen X, I don't think we quite fit into it. I think we're actually, you know, in those bridging years, and I think we're actually a bit of a different generation than what people are calling the millennials.
I believe so. That makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, it is interesting when you say the rage is now, how do we target millennials? You know, millennial voting, blah, blah, blah.
Look,
that's not us.
It's used as well because we live in a post-GFC world, right?
Yeah.
Which we live in a world where your job, and post-9/11 world, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's true.
Terrorism is a thing, and as well, not having any job certainty is a thing, which is terrifying. But to older people, it's like, just buy a house and you'll be working just fine. It's like, you have no idea. You are completely clueless about how different the world is.
I don't think it's that different. I think people over-exaggerate the fact that the world is overly different. I think a lot of the same struggles.
I disagree entirely with that
Oh,
position.
all right. Here we go.
No, look,
Give me your main points.
My main point is that back in the olden times, all right?
Olden times,
we're going to say maybe about 40 years ago, people could have a job for their entire life, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like a job with a small company. We're talking like a large employer. That is, job security is out the window. It doesn't exist. That's great. I think job security shouldn't be a thing. Because you know what? No, Joe, you know what job security does?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It inhibits innovation.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It stops you from taking risks.
Yeah.
Nowadays, more people are willing to take risks with their own business because they realize it's just as viable as working. Okay, that's some generational difference right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Mindset. Anyway, we better get back into the episode.
No, let's finish the train of thought.
You can finish it if you like.
Well, you didn't leave me anything to finish there.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You didn't give me a point there.
My point was
job security. That's all you gave me.
Job security is probably the biggest one, right?
Okay.
But also, even so, right, bigger one will be fear of job security in the future. Okay. Old people don't have to worry about job security in the future because they won't have jobs in 30 years. But will young people now studying and working hard, will they be given the tap on the shoulder in 30 years' time? Will their entire finances collapse? Is it worth buying a house? Is it worth having a kid? Can I afford that right now?
Yeah.
Those are questions that people just don't understand, and the older generation don't understand either. Because the threat is way different than it used to be.
All right. What is the threat?
The robocalypse.
Yes.
Yes.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? We have a normal conversation. This is becoming a trend. We start having a normal conversation about job security or whatever we might be having. Then all of a sudden, there's a big robot conspiracy. Everyone's going to lose their jobs to the robots. They're coming. There's going to be robot baristas, robot barristers. There's going to be bloody robot ambulances rolling around.
There will be self-driving ambulances.
Yeah, I know that there will be. That's inevitable at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe, that's not a certainty. What if there's some sort of giant EMP event that happens and we lose all technology before we get to that point?
Which is more likely? The robots, not the EMP. Are you fucking kidding me?
You know we're down the rabbit hole when you're saying that the robots are more likely than, anything else happening.
No, the robots are more likely than an EMP because where's an EMP coming from? Some magic EMP theory.
Russia.
Why is it sending its EMPs at us?
Because it doesn't like us anymore.
We see, there you go. That's terrible. That doesn't make any sense. North Korea can't build anything. It could barely build a farm. Okay.
You're a horrible racist, Anthony.
It's not racist to say North Korea is terrible at building shit.
Yeah, it is.
They're terrible. They're literally terrible at things.
Doesn't matter.
They're also
You're a white man. How dare you?
Well, I already know I'm a racist, right? Because I'm white. It's just inherent in our race.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Yeah, I'm hearing that increasingly, and I find that, actually a bit racist.
It's great.
I find it a bit racist when people say that all white people are racist.
It's good. It's good they say that.
What? Because it's racist.
It weakens the term racist.
But why is it? I don't know.
It's no longer. It's stopped becoming. It's stopped becoming an insult and now become a punchline to a joke.
Yeah, that's true.
It's taking the ammunition away from them.
Yeah, it's like everyone. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But not to say that I support racism.
No,
we think racism is terrible. We just think calling an entire group of people
a certain thing is pretty racist.
Yeah.
The
mysterious knight appears, and Pete and Linda both have backup remotes, and they're heading down the stairs, and then the knight's like, what's going on here? And then it disappears. Downstairs, Bronson is already watching his private detective show, and Peter wants to watch Rick the Rock drink milk, because that's his thing. He's like an AFL guy.
Yep.
He's clean. He's a clean player. I'm a clean player, and I play AFL, and drink lots of milk.
He loves that white milk.
And I've got a note here from Pontillo that Rick Rockshaw is portrayed by Peter Montgomery, who has appeared in Stingers as well as Neighbours, Sea Patrol, and Rush. Thanks, Pontillo. The other two characters in this episode, Jack Geddes, the private investigator that Bronson likes to watch, is portrayed by Jim Russell, who's known for his appearances in many TV shows from Australia, such as Sea Change. There you go. Blast from past there.
Yep.
Blue Healers, Something in the Air, and Stingers. Although he's most recognisable to me from his appearances in Comedy Inc.
I do remember him actually in Comedy Inc.
That was a sketch show, right?
Yeah, it was. It was after Fast Forward and Full Frontal, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary Moore is portrayed by Bernadette Schwerdt, who's made appearances in such shows as Blue Healers, Neighbours, Rush, and Winners and Losers. She's the investigative journalist that Linda likes to watch on television.
You know, it's a growing trend of Australian actors.
Yeah.
When I was looking at something that Samu sent us, he sent us actually a list of things saying all these different Round the Twist characters, what they've done prior and afterwards, which we'll post up on the Facebook.
Okay.
And almost all of them,
Yeah.
including in that list as well, have all been on Blue Healers. It's
Really?
It is literally the place to go if you're an Australian actor.
Well, Blue Healers was the 90s version of Underbelly.
It was. It was actually... I like Blue
Everyone was
Healers.
on it.
Did you watch Blue Healers?
No, I didn't watch Blue Healers. I think I watched like half an episode.
That's all right. It's a good show. It stars John Howard.
Yeah. How
Which is
could you
great.
not love John Howard?
Yeah, exactly. I like it because it's like, oh, John Howard wins a Logie, and then you realise it's not that John Howard.
Yeah. I remember that being a child. What? The Prime Minister on a Loki?
Yeah.
So, Pete and Linda, they're downstairs. Pete wants to watch Rick the Rock drink milk, and Linda switches over to Mary Moore. They all switch off each other's shows over and over again. Rick the Rock, what's the other guy's name? Jack Geddes, Mary Moore, until the TV explodes, and they each turn into the character that they wanted to watch.
Yeah.
So, Bronson's dressed as a private investigator. Pete's dressed as a gay AFL player. Which
With
is
milk. With milk.
Is no surprise.
He's got milk
He's
as
got
well.
milk.
A carton of milk, by the way.
And Linda is dressed as Mary Moore, which is, we've seen her do the journalism thing before. Bronson leaves for a case. Linda, she's Mary Moore, and she's got a sixth sense for news. And Pete is off. Girls and sport go together so well. I'm off to win a watch, then who knows? And then he leaves with his milk. So what do you think he's going to do?
I just think Pete is trying to hide his homosexuality by adopting a hyper-masculine personality.
And we talked about that enough on the last episode of Around the Twist, Tales from Twist. So you can go and listen to that if you want to know more about Anthony's theory about how Pete Twist is a homosexual.
Yes. It's not that it's a bad thing, but
Because
it just is.
It's starting to be a bit on the nose, the amount that you talk about it.
Because it's
Are you
what
trying
it
to
is.
hide your own?
It's what it is. I'm just reading into the story. I'm just reading into the story here. Okay.
Yes. Okay, well, thanks for the observation.
There you
Let's
go.
move on. Gee, I nearly said Gee. We've
Yeah.
got G here. Gribble, G for Gribble, is making a video in front of my lighthouse. He's making a bit, this is my lighthouse, and these are all the things I'm going to do with it. And then Bronson appears, and he calls Gribble a fatso. Hey, fatso, you got a lot of things going on here, you big dirty rat. And Linda starts interviewing Nell on TV, drags her in front of the video camera, and the guy filming just keeps going. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then Pete intercepts the TV and talks in front of both of those, and he's drinking milk, and he's like, oh, I love drinking milk. Milk is so good. Oh, I love drinking milk.
He does. He loves drinking his milk.
I love playing ball games with sweaty men.
I love
drinking milk.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's this lovely cavalcade of just
Milk
and private investigators and Mary Tyler Moore.
Bronson storms off to investigate the fatso, and then Linda signs off. Gribble is very upset, having been called a fatso.
Oh, of course.
Because why wouldn't you? Have you ever been called a fatso?
No.
Hey, fatso.
Never been called a fatso?
What's the worst thing you've ever been called?
I don't know.
Anthony Pamphany? The big fat Anthony?
Probably that, yeah.
Do you want to know the worst thing I've been called?
What?
I've been called you old C.
Oh, that's not actually that word.
I've been called a bunch of things.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
It's all right, mate.
Yeah.
It's all right. You'll get through it.
Yeah, you'll get through it. You'll recover with some therapy.
I've written here the footy show.
Yes. So
What do I mean by that?
what you mean is that they actually have gone to the AFL Oval.
Ah, yes. So they've gone to the footy, and Pete joins Snapper's team and gives Fiona his milk to hold while he wins an AFL game.
Mm-hmm.
So Fiona being, of course, his love interest in this season. And he goes on and he starts kicking many points. The Gribbles look bad. Because
The Gribbles are like, what's gotten into Twist? He's making us look bad because
they're
we're
on the
going to
team.
kick his ass.
they're on the team and they're not winning many goals, but he's making everyone look terrible.
Because he's a
just
classic
smashing it.
AFL player. He's the best.
So Gribble trips Pete and he falls over in the mud. I've got a note here from Patillo and he says, when Pete falls over and gets tripped by James and falls in the mud, it looks a bit like a bit later on when Matron drives through a puddle and covers Bronson in mud. And he says the mud appears to be a porridge-like substance. So he reckons they've got a big vat of porridge and they've covered it in brown food colouring.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And they've thrown it all over Pete. You know, it wouldn't be Around the Twist episode with a bit of goobity goop, would it?
Of course.
They got a bit silly.
It's a staple of Round the Twist is goopity
Well,
goop.
the later seasons of Round the Twist, when they decided that they were Nickelodeon now.
Well, Nickelodeon was the hot thing.
Nickelodeon was the hot thing when this was a thing.
So they had to do it, you know.
Thingity thing.
They're competing against that Nickelodeon goop.
You can't compete against that, can
No,
you?
You cannot. Don't even try. Stick to your guns.
Snapper's having a great time. His team's winning. He loves it. You know, there's nothing Snapper loves more than AFL
winning.
than theatre.
Yeah, exactly. He loves theatre and he loves watching AFL.
Bronson appears and starts questioning Snapper about the swap. There's been a swap here, apparently.
What does he mean by
It's
that?
been a while since I've written down my notes, so I'm not
hasn't
actually
it?
sure what I mean by that. But there's some sort of estate swapping going on between the swamp. Oh, he's questioning him about the swamp. Oh, that makes sense. It's not a swap at all.
Yeah.
I was going to start, just making something up.
And B says, you sound like fly spray, which I guess he was going shh to
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. Because obviously the inquest, he doesn't want to talk to Bronson about
He doesn't
it.
want to talk to the media or the private investigators.
No, of course not.
Turns out that Gribble owns the swamp and Bronson gives Snapper $1 for his trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
How'd you do?
You know you're in high finance when you're...
He gives him $1 and he's
Looking
like,
at $1.
forget that you ever saw me. All right? We never met.
Yeah.
Classic spy.
Classic children's spy. Trying to sway people with $1. Did you ever be a spy?
No, I've never been a spy like that. I wouldn't give people money.
Were you ever a private where are we going with this?
I don't know where you're going with this. Were you ever a private investigator? If I mean that I've stalked people before, then yeah, I have. But not stalked people like as an aggressive stalker, but like, everyone Facebook stalks. Or
Yeah,
internet
except
stalks.
yours is a little extreme, and I'm sure we've talked about it on the
reverse
podcast
image
before.
searching.
But, you really go through it. And I think we've mentioned before, in high school, before it was as easy to Facebook stalk people because there was no Facebook. But our friend, he met a girl when we were on a camp far away, and she lived in Harvey Bay. And so when we got back to school, he spent about an hour in our computer class tracking down exactly where she lived based on visual cues that she'd told him, like, oh, I grew up, there was this tree I used to climb, blah, blah, blah. Searched, used Google Images, did this whole thing, found out where her house was, found out what her phone number was, found out the names of her parents, found out this, that, the other thing. And I was, at the time, we were about 16, and I was like, that's pretty weird. You probably shouldn't tell anybody that you can do that.
Yes, probably.
Because-
Probably don't want to tell people that. That sounds like something that goes before a grand jury.
Yeah, because he was telling me how he did all this stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, I think you probably want to keep this to yourself for a little while.
Yeah.
Just lay low.
But
Don't
now with the
don't
internet,
use this information.
now with the internet, you can just reverse image search on Google.
You can.
It's so easy.
You can indeed. So Linda starts questioning Snapper over refinancing the swamp allegations, and then Pete goes to go get his milk off Fiona, and he says, "Oh, thanks, babe," and she tips milk all over his head
Yep.
because she's no babe.
Exactly. She's an independent woman, and also Pete's kind of a dickhead.
Also, he is a dickhead.
So that's fair enough.
She's not going to be his beard.
His beard.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's the term for if someone's a homosexual, they have a female partner to pretend,
Oh, okay.
to hide. It's a Hollywood thing,
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
like Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah. Fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. And what's the other guy? Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta.
The
Yeah.
Scientologists. Will Smith's a Scientologist as well, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah. Scientology, hey? How do you get into it? How do
Well,
you not
they-
just stop yourself and go, this is a bit weird, isn't it?
Because they keep talking to you.
This Xenu guy?
Yeah, but you don't learn about that from the start.
Yeah, you don't.
You get sort of
You get
indoctrinated,
phased
and
in.
then you've spent like a $10,000, $30,000, $40,000 on this therapy, and it's like, well, you've come this far. Why would you leave now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of trapping people in with sunk costs.
Yeah, and like they verbal abuse as well. Actually, I don't know, but does the Scientology do this? We don't know. We don't know. We cannot confirm or deny. With Scientology,
this
does
is all
this.
allegations.
All allegations. All baseless allegations.
We can't confirm at all. I'm sure Scientologists are really good people at heart, and they'd never do anything like harass podcasters that said bad things about them. So
I heard in a parallel universe. where
yes,
there's
what
this thing-
parallel universe?
Oh, parallel universe where it's called Scientology, but it's not actually Scientology. It's Scientology is.
It's called mathology.
It's called Christianity in this universe. Okay.
It's called what? All right.
So
Let's see
Christianity,
where this
I've heard
goes.
that Christianity, right? They make a lot of their money by suing people who talk about them online. Yeah, that's how they make a lot of their money, which is why you have to be very careful if you talk about Christianity in the parallel universe. You're picking up what I'm putting down?
We're gonna get sued.
By the way, this is a novel written by Anthony Bull, right? This is all fake, all fiction. That covers it.
If we ever actually get sued, I doubt that it was all in my novel. It was all in my fictional novel defense. It's really going to hold up.
Well, I'll write a novel then. Should just fucking write. I'll just write one. I'll say, look, it's in there. It's in there. And literally, I'll have a court scene which will talk about how this, I'm being brought before the trial.
Yeah.
Be very meta.
Very meta. The Gribbles aren't happy about the match, and they decide to chase Pete because, that's what they do.
It is exactly what they do.
And at the swamp, Bronson is there, and he's monologuing about the case. He's like, dirty water, dirty money, and dirty deals. And Matron drives over to the swamp, and Bronson is hiding. She's measuring and moving posts around, changing the size of the swamp.
Fiend.
What a fiend indeed. And Bronson catches her with the post and compass in her hand, and Matron says that she's orienteering.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever been orienteering?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a good orienteering story?
Yeah, it's called getting lost.
Okay.
You got to
Is this the Lantana story?
No, it's just it's like we're on a camp and we couldn't figure out like all the stories, and I just got sick of doing it. I just don't like orienteering. It's not for me. Okay.
It's boring, isn't it?
It's really boring.
It seems cool because you've got a compass and you've got a map, and it's you're going to be going around looking at the map, but you're really just, what direction are we going in? Let's walk in that direction. We've found the next post.
A scavenger hunt is fun. That's kind of fun, right? I don't mind those.
Yeah, because you go wherever you want.
Yeah, exactly. And it's basically got to go to these locations.
Yeah.
Because I can't deal with maps. I can't deal with directions.
Are you map illiterate?
No, I'm very good with maps. I'm very good with locations more so than what's it called? Compass directions.
Compass directions?
So it makes more sense for
Okay.
me to do the other type.
Linda appears and begins to question Matron about the swamp. And Matron, she gets upset and she leaves in a scene that we're all very familiar with, having seen A Current Affair, an Australian TV show about dodgy journalism and dodgy builders. These dodgy builders are at it again. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of years where that was nearly every week.
Everyone was dodgy. Everyone was did the dodgy pedophile walk.
The dodgy pedophile walk. Mm-hmm. Can you describe for our listeners what the dodgy pedophile walk is?
Imagine walking away scared, black and white, at half speed, with music like dong 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 dong, and their over voice saying, "Look at this dodgy person. He's dodgy," and he's just walking away because he's a pedophile, I guess, or he's somehow bad. And you can say all these horrible things about people and you don't get sued. I don't understand that. But
Defamation, hey?
yeah, you think so? Calling someone a pedophile, you better have a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
On television.
That's like the definition of defamation.
It literally is. It's going to have a massive impact on your life.
Matron speeds off. She mud sprays Bronson all over the place, as we talked about before, with the porridge-like substance. Thanks, Pontillo. And Bronson says, Jack Geddes always gets the dirt.
Yeah, and you could tell that he really he did not enjoy saying this line.
Why?
Because at the end, he's like, Jack Geddes always gets the dirt. Like, it felt like that was a child who was like, he was probably had a cry after this. He probably didn't like it. It sounds like a child who's just forcing through the line to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because he probably had to do it multiple times.
You don't think he was acting?
No, I don't think he was acting. No.
You think he was just sick of being covered in porridge dirt?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Back at the lighthouse, Gribble's saying, ask not what I can do for Port Noranda, but ask what Port Noranda can do for me. Of course, aping the famous speech by, was it Clinton?
No. Try again.
JFK?
JFK, correct.
Yeah. I don't know. All the American presidents, they all just kind of blur together, don't they?
Yeah, just remember he's the one who got shot.
JFK.
The other one who got shot, yeah.
Which party was JFK?
He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shot him because, what was he doing?
Well, Lee Harvey Oswald shot him because I don't know what his motivation is. This is the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
People don't really know why Lee Harvey Oswald shot him because Jack Ruby shoots him.
Okay.
But so he could never go to trial when he was moving in. So you don't really know why he did it. I think it was just some policies they didn't like, but you never really know why he did it.
Yeah. It's
kind of annoying. It's not like what's his face? That other guy. Fucking not Orson.
Which guy?
The one who shot Abraham Lincoln. I forget his
Orson
name.
Welles.
Yeah, Orson Welles. Because he left down.
Imagine Orson Welles as an assassin.
Yeah.
Especially old Orson Welles, when he got enormous. He's like hiding in the bushes with the little gun. He's like, I'm going to get you.
That'd be something I'd enjoy seeing. I would enjoy seeing that.
You said that really weird.
A time-traveling Orson Welles going around assassinating people.
You know, that's a TV show there, isn't it?
Oh my God, it is
Time-traveling
too.
Orson Welles assassinating people from public eye.
That would work.
Can we talk for a second, seeing as you brought up JFK, about the magic bullet?
Yeah. What about it?
What's your opinion?
Well, lay out for the listeners what the magic bullet
So the
is.
JFK assassination, the bullet was never recovered, and the head was lost or something?
No.
What would you tell me?
Okay, so what I understand is that the head wasn't lost. The head was actually just the head was buried, or
Okay.
it might have been incinerated, like put in it.
Yeah.
But they've done a lot of examinations.
JFK's head
on
after he got
JFK's
shot in the head by a bullet.
Yeah. What's happened is the bullet went through JFK's, I think, head, right, down into his shoulder, ricocheted up, right, off one of the bones.
Yeah.
And like hit one of his off someone in front of him.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's kind of like the magic trajectory of the bullet, but they figured it went through his head, okay, went out, right, and it went down to someone's shoulder or some shit.
Yeah.
And there's also like this idea that he rocks back because he gets hit, like,
Yeah.
but he's getting shot from behind. But the thing is, it comes out of his head.
Yeah.
Or it comes out of his shoulder. I can't fucking remember. Like, I can't remember how it all goes.
If you're interested in the specifics, I'm sure Wikipedia's all over it.
But the thing is, the idea is the bullet comes through, making a short entry hole, but it leaves the head, right? Boom. Comes straight out. And there's a big amount of force as it leaves.
Yeah.
And that pushes the head back. That's why he doesn't knock forward.
Okay, so you're not a magic bullet conspirator.
No, I'm not. It seems like Lee Harvey Oswald shot him, and which makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
No framing.
No framing. No need.
Linda arrives and calls Baron a swamp baron and accuses him of trying to do something in pristine pastures. And loads of people arrive and they're chasing each other around like Benny Hill.
Yeah.
And for various reasons, mostly they want each other's money back. So Snapper wants his money back from Gribble for some reason, and it's all explained in the episode.
Yep.
This is one of those episodes I think you've just got to watch to understand that subplot with the swamp, because I didn't fully understand it myself. I wasn't too interested in it. I was more interested in the TV. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because there's the two things going on. There's the stuff with the TV and there's the stuff with the swamp. And then kind of partway through, we're about to get to that point, the swamp doesn't really become necessary anymore. It's more about the TV, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it seems weird. And it's in the early seasons of Around the Twist, the plot lines came from Paul Jennings' stories.
Yeah.
And so the ones that were based on one story always kind of made sense because they had this solid idea of what they were trying to do. But some of these episodes that aren't based on a short story, it's like, what are they trying to achieve with this?
Yeah. What are they trying to do?
What are they doing?
I don't know. They're trying to mishmash two things together. I didn't like the Benny Hill thing. Oh,
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was weird. I was more focused on the television show that they were trying to do.
I know
and
that-
and basically the meta commentary that they had when they went into the television.
Yeah.
You know, that was definitely what most of the show was about. And this side story was just not something that gripped me.
I know that they were trying to do a TV thing throughout this whole
Yeah.
episode and do different TV things, but the Benny Hill thing just felt so jarring, especially now, considering the other types of TV thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
It was just weird, wasn't it?
They probably just thought, this will do. Benny Hill, a little bit of difference. I guess it works at some level.
on some level. Pete, Linda, and Bronson hide inside the lighthouse. They spam the TV, and then they summon the real characters appear. The real Jack Geddes, the real
Mary Moore.
Rick the Rock, and Mary Moore. And the three characters, they have a remote control power struggle because they have their own remote controls and they shoot them at the Twist, and the Twists are shooting back, and there's a power beam struggle, like we've talked about in the past, like Dragon Ball Z
style power battle. But the Round the Twist kids, they try really hard, but they lose. It explodes, and the kids are now trapped within the television.
So they're trapped in a Twist kitchen, like a set. They're trapped in the set of their own lighthouse, which is kind of ironic because the lighthouse kitchen is a set.
And I like that because it was like we get to actually see where they filmed Round the Twist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rick the Rock says, "Why would I let you out? Get real, Lucille."
He tells the kids, you're stuck in there. All right, you're going to be stuck in there because I guess they love the future.
Freedom.
Well, they love the things because in the television, in the TV world.
Yes.
The fruit is made of wax.
Okay.
And one of the characters, I can't remember which one exactly, he eats some of the fruit, and it's real. Real milk, real food. He loves it. And so why would you want to leave reality when you back into old fiction land?
Okay, well, I want to get into something in a little bit. Let's just get through a little bit more, and then we can talk about it. But the characters leave, and the Twists are trapped into the TV sets. Suddenly, they go out the back of the set, and they're in the actual, the actual set, the studio.
Behind the scenes.
There's the PAs, they're looking for the characters, they're looking for the actors who play the characters, and they only find the Twists. So they're on an actual studio set, and they're going to go look for remotes to zap themselves out. Now, this is where it gets confusing.
Yeah.
So they've zapped characters out of the TV into real life, but those characters are now missing from the actual studio that they came from. So what? Why would they appreciate being in the real world if they already existed in the real world, but existed on the studio set?
Well, I don't think you can leave the studio set.
Is this but you can.
I know,
it's a job.
I know, but it doesn't work as a narrative at all if they can't be like this magical TV set.
But it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's a good point because you think they'd just be the actors who are playing it, and now they get to be real. And you're right, it doesn't make any sense but there are some things like Mary Moore can't leave a studio. Okay, we've talked about that.
We will talk about that.
Yeah, it comes up, and there's cases where it's like none of the other characters, they seem to live in the studio. So it seems like this is a parallel universe or just some contained narrative universe where it's like this is inside the television, but representative of what it's like in real life. So these Jack Geddes and the actor who plays Jack Geddes could actually meet each other, just like kind of Last Action Hero.
Yeah. So Bronson, he's looking around in the dressing room, and he sees Jack's stunt double. He's looking for a remote control to zap themselves out of this land, and his stunt double demonstrates wall jumping through walls, and hit diving, like when you get a hit, pretending to be hit really bad. And Bronson is sworn to secrecy that Jack Geddes doesn't actually do his own stunts. It's all done by the stuntman, who I don't know why that's a big surprise.
Well, it's a big surprise to the kid. Yeah. The kid thinks it's like he's real, but it turns out that it reveals that Jack Geddes isn't the tough guy that he thinks he is.
Linda stumbles into an editing lab, and there's an editor in here, and he says, "Are you the media studies student?" And she's like, yeah, okay. And the editor is blue screening all Mary Moore's stuff while the crew are actually the ones saving orphanages. So they send out a crew to go and do this job, and then they blue screen Mary Moore over the top, and she doesn't actually leave the studio. Why? I don't know. Because she doesn't like going outside.
Yeah, she doesn't like to do anything. And that's just to make Linda feel like, oh my gosh, she's a fake, she's a phony.
Yeah.
And this whole episode is about kids realizing their heroes are phonies.
Yes. TV or not TV. And it turns out that Mary Moore, of course, does nothing.
Of course.
Pete goes into Rick the Rock's manager's office while the manager is signing a bunch of Rick pictures, and she thinks Pete is work experience, and she says, "I'm paid to experience you work." Is that how work experience works, Anthony, in your experience?
I imagine. Yeah, you don't get paid and you do all the shit jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's basically it.
Which is stupid because it's like, I'm here to learn, not here to be a slave. I understand that you give me an opportunity, but I feel like I'm a slave.
Yep. Well, that's the way it works.
It's bullshit.
I don't know. When I worked at the restaurant, we had a bunch of work experience kids come, and I would try and be nice to them and say like, "Hey, I'll teach you how to do recipes or whatever," and then the boss would be like, "Oh, can you tell so and so to get back to the dishes?" And it's like, well,
they've come here to work experience.
They're not being paid. We're paying somebody else $8.50.
Being paid, then forget it. You're getting paid, but you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
At least, at the very least, teach them something. They can do shit jobs, but if you're like, I'll teach you how to do some recipes, or I'll teach you how to do this. That's fine. You know, that's like that's why you came to a restaurant. You didn't come in to wash dishes. Yeah. You came in to learn.
Yeah. And even though like a lot of them became dishies, I still felt bad when they were doing their work experience. Anyway, Rick, it turns out that Rick hates milk because it makes his wig itch. And he wears a wig. His hair's not even real. And he's the dirtiest player in the code, which I don't know how Pete didn't know that because most AFL games are televised, so wouldn't you know if the player was acting real dirty instead of, being clean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow sports, so who knows? I don't care. He's dirty, clean.
All right. Pete, Bronson, Linda, they meet up and they've all got an idea. The characters in the lighthouse have retreated back inside because they tried to go outside and nobody likes them because of all this swamp business that's going on. And Pete, Bronson, Linda decide to tell everyone the truth on a TV show called TV or Not TV. And it's being broadcast in the living room. And the characters see it. They're like, what's this TV show?
And that's the name of the episode. So meta. Oh my gosh.
It's so meta. And they say, we're going to tell everyone the truth about you and your dark secrets. And they're going to turn them off. The characters are going to turn off the TV. And they say, no, we've taped it. We're going to broadcast it across the nation. We're Radis the Rat. And so the characters zap the twists out of the TV and into real life. And the characters are about to kill the twists by turning them off.
Yeah, that's probably how you're supposed to kill them, but
I've got a note here from Pontillo, and he says, I'm not sure what Rick, Jack and Mary mean when they say they're going to turn off the twist kids. Are they going to kill them? Or perhaps it's breaking the wall, the fourth wall, and we are looking at a TV show within a TV show, so they're going to turn off around the twist.
No. Never thought
what
of
are
it
they
that way.
talking about here?
I think they're talking about trying to kill them by turning off the television, but that doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Because that means that Jack Getty and all those other characters, their lives are dependent on you continuing to watch them.
Yes.
And once you stop watching them or turn them off, you kill them. So maybe when Tony turned off the television, he unwittingly killed 3 people. And these are new people. Like every time you turn on TV, it's a new Jack Getty. It's a new Mary Moore.
The character's about to kill the twists, I'm assuming, and Tony rocks in with the actual remote and turns off the TV. And the characters disappear.
Yes.
They're like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have been watching TV. Oh, we're sorry, Dad, we'll never do it again. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And Faye, she says, oh, we're going to watch the ultrasound. She puts on the...
She's been unaware of this.
She
didn't know.
She hasn't been present. Yep. She's been in Bigville.
Getting
the ultrasound town.
You know?
And she switches on the TV and the twists all become babies because of the magic power of television.
That was terrible. Like, I hated that part of the episode. That part was just awful.
Especially because they were, traditional, like children wearing, like babies with baby clothing and rattles. It's an ultrasound.
They're not fetuses.
Yeah, they should be fetuses.
Like, if you're going to do this, you do it right, for starters, and be fetuses, not bloody babies.
Yeah.
Okay? You should be fetuses without a womb. Okay?
Wombless fetuses.
With a bag of placenta around you.
All right. Pontillo has summed it up saying, I suppose the main underlying message in this episode is that some TV actors aren't the same as they are in real life, and as a society, we need to be careful when we choose our influences, especially from fictional media sources. They could also be a mild scare tactic for kids who watch too much TV in fear that they will get sucked into the TV. Did your mum ever say that?
No, I never said that because she wasn't crazy.
Did you say you're going to get square eyes?
No. She just told me to back away from the TV. And I realize now because she wanted to watch television, not have me like in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, back then, remember, TVs were crazy heavy. Like, kids died from grabbing the TVs.
Yeah, that's true.
One thing I wanted to bring up was...
Yes.
I looked up the stunt guy because I was like, who's this stunt guy? He looks familiar. Now, he's not actually familiar, the actor, right? But he is actually the stunt guy for Round the Twist.
Oh.
Yeah, and his name is Eddie McShorttall. Yeah, that's his name. And I thought, oh, that's just obviously a fake name. I type it in. No, that's his literal name is Eddie McShorttall. Like, really? Come on.
One of the things that I didn't mention is when they go to TV Land and they're wandering around the set, you see the crew. And I'm assuming this is actually the real crew of Round the Twist.
I have to assume that as well,
because there's a couple of little winks, like there's the grip walking past with a bunch of stuff, and he kind of winks directly at the camera. He's like, I'm a lovable grip. Classic grips.
That's what grips do, eh?
They moonlight as pirates.
What do grips do?
They carry stuff, basically.
That's a shit role. It sounds terrible.
They carry stuff, they bring stuff in, they make sure stuff is tied down.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's what you do, I guess.
A gaffer.
A gaffer.
He also does stuff like that.
Yes, not to be confused with a gopher.
A gopher. No, well,
they're not called
we call
that.
them runners.
They're called runners, yeah.
Yeah. What's another film job you want to know what they do? Continuity.
Yeah, continuity.
Make sure that, because you do a lot of different shots, you want to make sure that the characters look this, or everything inside the screen looks the same in each shot.
I remember your short film, and they couldn't put the chest board back together.
What?
Remember we did your only short film, right?
Yeah.
A short film called Checkmate, was it? Yep.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's
All right.
great.
Thanks, Anthony.
It's I don't know if it's on YouTube. Maybe
I don't think it's on YouTube.
But there was this one scene where they were doing like 3 chessboards, and they were moving the chess pieces around every time. And this shot took like 3 hours to do. It was only 5 minutes, or even less than that.
It was like 20 seconds.
20 seconds, and every time they couldn't put the chessboard back
It was
properly.
a nightmare.
It didn't make any sense. I'm like, how do you not understand how chessboards are made? They're like, or positioned. They're so easy.
Yeah.
But they were like horses in front of the pawns. I was like, what is wrong with you people? What damage happened to you as a child?
You think that working on a film about chess, some other people would have done a little bit of research about what a chessboard looked like? Hey?
No one else. It was just you and me. So we had to basically just reset the whole damn chessboard every time. Yeah.
Yeah. What a pain.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into what Pontillo thought of the episode. And he says, it's an entertaining episode. I felt some of the moments in the episode weren't explained properly, either verbally or visually, and lacked logic, which left me asking a few questions. How is it that the Twist Kids remote suddenly became magic? Yeah, that's a good point. Why would the actors in TV Land also have magic remotes? Yeah, where did they get those? Where is TV Land geographically, and what was stopping the Twist Kids from leaving the studio and making alternative arrangements to travel back to Port Noranda? Yeah, getting on a bus or something. I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a schmozzle, but Pontillo's given it 7 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti and a carton of milk.
Good.
How would you rate the episode, Anthony?
Before I rate the episode, I just wanted to say that someone commented on our Facebook post, latest one about Dog by Night, saying that he was actually an background extra in this episode in the AFL footy scene.
Okay,
He's watching
cool.
the footy game. His name's Tim Money. So that's a shout out to you if you're listening.
Shout out to you, Tim Money.
Tim Money. Great last name.
Money.
So I gave it a 6 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti.
Yep.
Just bowls of spaghetti is fine. Because, honest to God, I thought the middle was pretty great, right?
Okay.
But the start and the end were just big letdowns for me. The middle was fine, but the start and the end, I just didn't like it at all. What about you, Joe?
3 out of 10 bowls of carbon dioxide.
Good.
I had no idea what was going on, and it didn't make any sense. That's everything, right?
That is everything.
Do you want to quickly plug our socials and tell them where they can hear more about Tales from the Twists?
First off, guys, just go to Chicken Twisties. It's our Facebook group. You can get behind-the-scenes action. Find us on all our social medias. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes and send us a rating. You know, if you do that, if you rate us right on iTunes, like 5 stars, okay, and then you screen cap it.
Well, it doesn't have to be 5 stars.
Well, we'd like
rate
5
us
stars.
what you think we're worthy of.
Right, you do that. You send a screen cap to me or in the Chicken Twisties group. I'll send you a packet of Chicken Twisties. That's an Anthony Bull promise. And of course, you can always go to our website at talesfromthetwist.wordpress.com.
Let's just make it clear that Samu, our Finnish listener, we're sorry, but I don't think Anthony's going to send you a packet of Twisties.
I don't know the international rules, but you know what? I'd be willing to give it a try.
All right.
Actually, that'd be pretty sweet. If I can get you a packet of Chicken Twisties.
Do they have Twisties in Finland?
I don't know. But
They're not purely Australian, are they?
I don't know. I have no idea what it's like to ship it. I could actually, you know what? I'll find out. I will find out if it's okay to ship twisties to Finland. And then, you know what? If you want some twisties, just let me know. I'll send you some twisties, Samu. And, we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, but the main thing to take out of that is we do want people to like us on Facebook and rate us on iTunes because it helps us out a lot.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, yep. That's about it.
That is it, mate.
Well, thanks very much for being a listener, sitting there in your proverbial comfy chair listening to the old podcaster-rooney.
Mm-hmm.
I hope whatever else you've been doing while you're listening to this has been productive. I hope you haven't been doing anything too crude, because that would be weird.
Whatever is your fancy.
Whatever floats your boat. If you do like the sound of our voices in that way, then good on you.
Yeah,
good on you. But I hope that you did well on your run or your exercise bike or whatever it was that you were doing.
Yeah, me
or
too.
just lounging about.
Yeah,
I sometimes like to lounge about and podcast
or
away.
Watching or driving to work.
Or playing a video game. Most of our listeners listen on travelling to and from work, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, that's all from us. Have a great week. My name's Joe Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Stay twisty.